Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Now, while I'm on the Hollywood talking points, let's talk about something that my main man, Eric D. July, has been on forever. Now, I'm new to the content creator space. Eric D. July has been here for some years. I've probably only been following Eric for about 6-7 months now, since the beginning of this year, close to the beginning of this year. And what I found listening to him instantly was a word that he used a lot called tokenization. He described tokenization as taking something white and making it black for racial diversity's sake. You know, until I really looked back on it and reflected upon it, I never saw it like that. I mean, I still enjoy Into the Spider-Verse, the animated movie with Miles Morales. I found that very entertaining. As a matter of fact, I have the Ultimate comic. I still have the first Ultimate comic that introduced Miles Morales because I was very interested in seeing a black spin on the character. But taking a step back and not just being, black, and falling in love with it, I listened to some things that Eric said and some parallels he drew. And essentially what he said, I found myself being guilty of and had to switch my mindset, and that is finding validation, finding validation in white characters. I say again, black folks only finding validation in white characters. Now, I've broken it down to, as I've been teaching it and telling it to others, is getting white folks sloppy seconds. Now, he said that too, but hey, it's me. And what I mean by that is, he's right. As with The Woman King, a movie that was written by white people, Africa and black people have their own lore. We have our own history. We have our own folk tales. Why is it that we are constantly being fed white folks with black faces? Why is that? Why don't we have our own original characters? I mean, let me take that part back. Not why don't we have more in an entertainment space? We have, when it comes to comics, we have Blade, badass. We have Black Panther, and we have Falcon. Now let me stop and talk about Falcon for a second, because Falcon later on becomes Captain America. Now with the character of Falcon, I found it especially egregious. I couldn't even call that tokenization, because the Falcon was a well-established, well-written black character in comics. And then for whatever reason, they decided to pass on the mantle and make him Captain America. I found that insulting because I came up in a time where to really know your black history, you had to do black history research on your own. When I was coming up, the most you got on black history during Black History Month was, we were slaves, we got free, and here we are. The most we knew about names that were taught in school were Martin Luther King, because they didn't teach about Malcolm X at all. He was a radical. According to them, he was a radical and, could not be considered. So the only thing we knew was Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, the ones that white folks deemed safe Negroes. They're safe. We can teach about them. But to really get into the history of black people in America, you had to do the research on your own when I was coming up. And you found black authors like author of Roots. I think his name was Alex Haley. And you read the book Roots. And it was based on his family tree, on his family history. They made it into a miniseries on ABC, one of the most watched miniseries in television history. Came out in, late 70s, early 80s. Launched a lot of black careers in that movie. People in that movie, Ben Vereen, Louis Gossett Jr., O.J. Simpson, the star being LeVar Burton. That show, that miniseries, launched a lot of black careers. It really did. But it was essentially showed you what happened to slaves once they got to America. Now I'm going to show you how this ties back into Falcon in a second. Give me a moment. Just bear with me a few more seconds here. One of the key figures, was based on LeVar Burton's character named Kunta Kinte. And he was still what they would call a free spirit, an independent thinker. He was still trying to get away. He was not going to conform to his master. He was not going to conform to the white man. And one of the ways they were going to make him conform was they were going to take his name away. You know, they called him, when they'd ask him, and they'd tell him, your name is Toby, what's your name? And he would say his African name, Kunta Kinte. And every time he said Kunta Kinte, he got a lash. Wow, what's your name, boy? Kunta Kinte is Toby. Wow, what's your name? And he wouldn't do it. So that's how it ties back into my thing about the Falcon becoming Captain America. Y'all didn't want him to be Falcon anymore. Y'all felt that his relevance was only going to be bolstered when he became Captain America. Y'all took his name, y'all took his role, and y'all made him a new Cap. Doesn't that sound a whole bunch like Master getting that beating? What's your name, boy? Sadly, there are so many black people in the entertainment space that cheerlead this bullshit. They think it's cool. They think it's a great thing for black folks. When you see things like on the Obi-Wan miniseries by Disney Plus with the black stormtrooper chick named Reva. Reva's so great. Why? Because she's black? Is that what makes it great? No. And then with Amazon series, The Rings of Power, they added a black dwarf and a black elf. Oh look, we added more diversity. Isn't it great? No. Why would it be great? Because they're black? And that's when something else dawned on me. Oh, I get it now, current Hollywood. Black people are now your shields for your bullshit, lack of imagination, and poor creativity. Oh, that's what it is. Because if you didn't know this, what Hollywood does now is, if you criticize something that has a black person in the lead role, they call you racist. Oh, it's not that our story sucks monkey nuts. It's not that our stories eat donkey ass. No, you're criticizing it because there are black people in it. Nobody criticized Roots. Dave Chappelle's show was a hit. And for whatever the reason, Tyler Perry movies are a smash. And his TV shows. Not my cup of tea. But hey man, I don't knock the man's hustle because he's one of the few black people that actually promotes original black content. It may be corny, you can call it flaky, but you know what? It's his, it's ours. Our stories told our way. We didn't take Friends. You know what? Let's take Friends and now add it 6 black folks. No. Now it's better. And if you criticize it, it's because you hate black people. No. You know, that's the same thing they're doing right now with The Little Mermaid. They're making her a black young lady, Halle Bailey. Phenomenal singer. Her and her sister Chloe. They are awesome singing duo. But now what's going on is they are... Oh, well, see, I know what the problem is because y'all just don't believe in that black folks can be in fantasy things. That's what they said about Lord of the Rings of Power, what they're saying about The Little Mermaid. I mean, they added a black dude to the Game of Thrones prequel, The House of Dragons. Nobody's uttered a damn word about that, and that doesn't make sense either. But no, what you also have are race grifters who talk for Hollywood. Number one on that list being the head of Mount Rushmore of race grifting, Whoopi Goldberg.
Y'all are going to lose your minds when you see the new Ariel.
Yes.
Because you know, and I don't want to upset any mermaids who are watching the show.
Yes.
You know, because I know there are many communities of mermaids of various colors. And when I say of various colors, I'm not playing.
Yes.
There are violet mermaids. There are pink mermaids. There are black mermaids. There are Latina mermaids. There are mermaids of every ilk. And you know why there can be? Because it's the world that we would like to see better.
Yeah.
We would like to see as many people represented in fantasy as exists. So all of y'all who have problems because there are black hobbits, get a job.
Yeah.
Get a job. Go find yourself because you are focused on the wrong stuff. These are not real. Okay? The new Lord of the Rings series. The Rings of Power, and Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon, are both massive hits, but they don't exist in the real world, okay? There are no dragons, there are no hobbits, you know that. And there are critics who are saying they were too woke by adding diverse characters. Are you telling me black people can't be fake people too?
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling me?
You can be a dragon. Well,
I don't know if there's like a Hobbit, club. I don't know if they're going to be protests. But people, what is wrong with y'all?
And here's the thing, Whoopi, you dumbass. It's not the fact that black folks can't be in fantasy things. It's the fact that black folks don't belong in those fantasy stories. Why not, as a black woman, you're not getting in Hollywood's ass telling them, hey, go find good African folklore. Go find some good African-based stories. Because let's do it this way. With The Little Mermaid, it is a Norwegian or a Swedish story. Ain't that many darkies out there, homegirl. So back up. And then to blame J.R.R. Tolkien as being racist. He was a European Catholic dude, a white European Catholic dude. So a lot of his people are gonna look like him. The same way that when we made The Cosby Show, Rock, Living Single, In Living Color, Girlfriends, a lot of those people are black. I know, shocking, right? You kind of make stories and base things based on what the fuck you live around. J.R.R. Tolkien, when he wrote oh god dang! See, I'm also goddamn pissed off. Oh yeah, when he wrote the Lord of the Rings series, he based it on his current environment, which is a lot of Middle European folklore, and he just took some Middle European environment things like that, made Middle Earth, blah blah blah, wrote a whole world about it. That's cool. Wasn't a lot of black folks. Don't expect to see a lot of black folks. What runs me hot is the fact that the one of the narratives being pushed, which is one of the greatest bullshit narratives I've ever heard of, is, oh, I can't understand that character unless I can see myself. When I was coming up, when a lot of my ilk were coming up, a lot of people in my age range were coming up, we related to a lot of things not based on their skin color, but their mindset, their experience, and the content of their character. Skin color didn't have shit to do with it. Side note, unless of course you're talking about horror movies. Horror movies, white folks do the dumbest shit known to mankind. Black folks, hey man, there's a reason we get killed off first, because if they know we don't, we're gonna run. We're gonna spend the entire movie running. Now back to the original scheduled program. So let's stop all that nonsense, okay? That nonsense of I can only see myself, as a black person, I can understand it, or I can't get involved in it, or I cannot fully immerse myself in that world unless I can see myself in that world, i.e. unless I see another black person. Bullshit. You're limiting yourself. You're an idiot. Now, again, I said to Hollywood, stop using black folks as your shield for your lack of creativity and your piss poor effort in writing.
Stop it. Get some help.
Because we are not shields. Period, point blank. We are not here to save you from yourselves. We are people, we are actors, and we have our own stories to tell. So create one and make it worth our while.
Man, we gonna stop it right there. You can catch the rest of that conversation on our Free Mind Thinkers podcast, which you can listen to wherever you listen to any of your favorite podcasts. We are on Amazon Music, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. So give us a listen there. If you like what you heard, then tell the world. Share, like the vid. If you have something to say, then please, we encourage everyone, drop a comment. Let us know what's on your mind. And you can find us all over social media. You can find our videos on BitChute, Odyssey, and YouTube. You can communicate with us through our various communication social media site platforms like Twitter, Rumble, Getter, Minds, Gab. Wherever you want to let your free mind thoughts flow, you'll find the Free Mind Thinkers. Plus, we are now setting up our locals page, which will soon load exclusive content for all those that become members. So stay tuned. Things are going to get greater. Y'all take it light. Remember to listen less, learn more.